And number 12, one of the reasons why kids, what we call misbehave, and what I call it an alarm that they simply want to have some help. And that is when us parents, when we fight. When we fight, that instantly makes a child feel insecure. Just like humans, we need to have a home, 4 walls. When we go to sleep, we don't want to sleep somewhere in the streets where someone could kick us in the head or a rat could come and bite off our left ear. We like to sleep in a tent. If we go camping, in a home, in a bed. Emotionally, we need a home. And that emotional home and safety zone is when there's harmony. Now, obviously, we have disagreements, and I believe disagreements should be in front of children, and I believe working, more important than disagreements, is for children to see how we work things out. But out of control arguments, when things are thrown around, doors are slammed, the spouse leaves the house, that shatters the child, which I know most of us don't know that. But then, as a result, they misbehave. Again, that's their alarm system when they ask for help. They feel insecure. And what happens again? They get punished. So why do children misbehave? Well, reason number 12 is because we are misbehaving, because we cannot go through our differences in a very civil way. And that applies as well if there's a separation or if there's a divorce within the family. That devastates a child. And there's, of course, sometimes things need to be done. And although most cases we could get people together, but in some there needs to be a separation or a divorce, but there's a lot we could do about it to help the child. I have just 2 stories just came to me now. One of them, when I was preparing a young man for his bar mitzvah and I was teaching him, although I try to focus just on what I was hired to do, sometimes it's very hard because you see children broken. You see children are struggling, and this child was, you could see he even had a hard time concentrating. And I know his parents were going through a divorce, sadly, like so many other parents. And I had a little chat with him about his parents. And I remember only one question that I asked him. I asked him, did any of your parents talk to you about how you feel about it? Ladies and gentlemen, there was no verbal response from this child, but there was a huge response from this child. He just started crying. And he started nodding with his head. And I was so overwhelmed from the pain listening that his parents, besides causing him all that pain, which I'm not blaming them because I don't know their story, but not once did one parent, father or mother, sit down with him in his bed while they put him to sleep. Well, they didn't have to put him to sleep. When he went to sleep, he's 12. You don't put a 12-year-old to bed. Or just have a one-on-one talk. Take him out for a tea. Take him out to the park. And tell him how bad you feel about daddy and mom, how they're fighting. Tell him that you care for him and both of us love you. And how do you feel about it? Not once was he asked how he felt about it. It's devastating. So even if a divorce or a separation has to happen, but all that pain doesn't need to happen. If a child misbehaves or doesn't do well in school, okay, we got to get a tutor, we got to give him a guilt trip, we got to ground him, we got to take away the PlayStation, he can't go to his friends. All right, so now that he doesn't have a life because his parents are fighting, let's take away the second life from him, and let's punish him even more because he got punished. It's an alarm system. There's so much besides flesh and bones to a child, it's their emotions. So when parents do fight, and especially if it's on a constant level, it really, really hurts them. And their misbehavior to you as a parent, or to their siblings, or to their friends, or to their teacher, is a cry again for help. So as I said a few times in the series, children are intrinsically good. When they misbehave, it might be one of these 12 reasons. And us as parents, it's important to examine what we're doing wrong. Because if we would do all 12 right, it's okay if we don't do everything perfect, because we could always apologize. But if we would be an appropriate parent to take care of the child's emotional needs, physical needs as well, which most of us do, a child that misbehaves would not exist. If the electricity is not overloaded, the breakers will not shut down. If there's no smoke next to the smoke detector, it doesn't set off the alarm. It's quiet and peaceful. If the gas detector has no odor of gas in the house, you will go through for years and not even know that you have a gas detector. Children are good. The only thing we need to change in this world is not educate children, is not teach children, and not discipline children. We need to be educated and give the child all their physical, emotional, and mental needs. Be sensitive and kind, fair and respectful, and you will just love your kids. The more I have learned how to be appropriate, how to be fair, and how to be a good parent, the closer and closer I have gotten to my kids. And I've always seen that they were never misbehaving. I wish I would have all this information when they were younger, but I didn't. But at least when they were teens, I did. And as teens, I could say, we never had a fight. We never had an explosion. We never had. And if we did, maybe one, because I can't even remember it. And the kids were always invited that if I do something wrong, they know this. I have a blind spot. They should please come. And in a respectful way, anyone could criticize me whatever I do. So a child knows that even if their father made a mistake, they could sit down and say what bothers them, and I will listen to them. There's no reason to misbehave or to rebel. It is the connection, and all the details of the 12 aspects. Thank you so much for listening, and have yourself a wonderful day. And it's so beautiful to see you listening to this stuff and learning, because the old generation knew already everything and there was nothing for them to learn, just to punish and give their children consequences. And you are greater, and you are more intelligent, and you know that we are in the most awesome generation that's willing to learn greater and better, and to bring up happy children, and to bring up satisfied children, and children with self-esteem and healthy self-image. Bye now.